Have you ever just been scrolling on social media and you see pictures of all these people that you either know or don't know very well, and you kind of start to construct an idea of who you think they might be or what they're like? And then in turn, you end up assuming that they're a certain way or that they're perfect, and we go into compare mode. Well, today I'll be discussing the reasons behind why we do that, how to snap out of that, and my experience with it, and how I have certain techniques that help me take a break from social media when it's triggering my mental health. Welcome back, my beautiful, wonderful, lovely, transformative, dearest friends. I'm back. I've been a little busy with my podcast, Proper Madness. Used to be called Beautifully Broken, now it's Proper Madness. Please go check that out. I just started season 2 called Lyrics of the Mind. I will let you discover what that is all about. It's essentially about music and how that's helped a lot of people on their mental health journey, and I talk to a variety of different people, all different walks of life. Please go check that out. It would mean the world to me if you were to subscribe and follow that podcast. That would mean so much. Also, I am now uploading the video portions of those podcast interviews because I know some of you like to physically watch two people talk instead of just listen to it. So that will be available now too, every Wednesday on this channel, so make sure you subscribe. You should also subscribe if you struggle with your mental health or you know someone who does. I basically give my own tips, guidance, tools, and knowledge based on my own experiences to help others on their mental health journey and healing and overcoming those deeper rooted wounds that we might be ignoring. So please subscribe. I also used to do something called Serial Saturdays. Don't worry, they'll be back. I've just been doing a lot of research, and in that research, because they're fictional characters that stem from TV shows, movies, and books, that requires me to do a lot of research, aka binge watching several TV shows and movies. So definitely stick around for those. They will be very, very interesting. There will be one up this Saturday. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button and, make sure you hit the like button, because I kind of want to know if you like this stuff. So if you hit that little thumb that's just down below, just hit it, just touch it, just hit just give it a thumbs, just, do one of these, because of the YouTube algorithm. So, my friends, social media is no mystery to any of us at this point. For me, social media has been something that I have always struggled with, whether it be from comparing myself to other women on there, comparing how far other people have gone in their lives compared to my life, or in constructing a story of how someone is or what they may actually be going through or not going through, strictly off of a picture. Social media does have its benefits, right? It has a lot of benefits. We use it to market our businesses. We use it to make a change in the world to some degree. We use it to try to better society, stay connected to the people that we love and care about. However, there can be a major, major downside with our mental health. So for me personally, when I'm going through a rough time, like a really rough time emotionally, I notice that I'm on social media a little bit more, whether that be TikTok, whether that be Instagram. I don't use Snapchat. I haven't touched that in years. And what I have discovered is it's a way for me to escape my own mind. Now, I did a whole series on emotional avoidance. I think I did it last year. I may redo that series and add some more stuff in there, but essentially what it is we all have different coping mechanisms to escape our emotions deep inside, and they're not always conscious. Do you ever notice when you're in an uncomfortable situation, the first thing you do is you try to find something to to make it look like you're busy? You're like, okay, I'm in a really uncomfortable situation. Maybe your crush is walking by and you're like, oh God, what do? You grab your phone and you pretend to look busy. Or say your family members are having an argument and you're like, I'm not involved in this, I don't want to be here, and you look at your phone. I notice I'll pick up my phone and look at it when no one's texted me. No one texts me. Literally, no one texts me much anymore. So I'll basically try to escape through other people's lives. Like, I'll want to know what other people are doing so badly in order to avoid what I should be doing and what I should be focusing on in my own life. And that can be very, very dangerous for a number of reasons. One, when you avoid your emotions or anything that you're going through, you're just kind of taking those emotions, stuffing it way down deep, and letting it just sit there until something triggers it and you explode and you have a bigger emotional reaction than you should have. Or if you have depression, and if you know this, if you're depressed and you hide it and ignore it, you'll notice that when you do have a depressive episode, it'll last a lot longer. Whereas if those emotions are coming up and you deal with it head on and you take care of yourself and you nurture yourself and you're present in that moment, then you're more likely to have it be lessened. I have found through my own personal experience, as well as with friends now that I have in the community that have struggled with their mental health. Now, the other caveat to emotional avoidance of social media is escapism, right? So we're escaping our own issues in our own lives in order to run away from what we need to deal with, to just be really blunt and straightforward about it. If you're going through a hard time in life, say your finances aren't the best and you're really struggling financially, and you're like, wow, I really am struggling right now and I should be doing all these other things. But instead, you jump on your phone, you scroll through Instagram, and you see all these other people's lives where they might be doing better financially. Now you're escaping into these other people's lives and completely neglecting your own. That in and of itself is ignoring you. Now, the second way that social media is very, very dangerous, and I'd say this is the most common, and the one that I struggled with a lot. I struggle with body dysmorphia, and for me, it's due to the fact that growing up, I never fit in. I was always physically just kind of awkward, and then at some point when puberty hit, like, I gained a bunch of weight, went to college, gained some more weight, then lost it, then gained it back again. And then in 2013, I actually got into fitness and everything. But then the body dysmorphia became different. But how it stemmed when I was younger is all these girls were like really stick thin and like totally like, just this was like, girls being really stick thin was like the thing when I was growing up. And for me, I was never that body type. I mean, I have curves, I have an hourglass figure. That is not how I will ever look because genetically I'm not built like that. So I would already as a child compare myself to the popular girls who were always like really, really skinny. And so I was already doing that and feeling down about myself. Now when social media came into play, it got really bad because I would see pictures of girls who had like teeny tiny waists, but they had curves, or they had really, really, really big boobs and like, like teeny tiny arms, and like I would just compare my body to theirs all the time and always wonder what I could do to look like them because they seemed popular, because they had all these likes, all these followers, they had people commenting all the time about how beautiful they were. That self-defeating mentality that I have built up over years, and then social media just being there to emphasize all of it, has made it worse. So how I stepped out of this is I unfollowed anyone who was triggering my body dysmorphia or any eating disorder habits that I used to have, because they would record like what they were eating and what time they would eat, or their workouts, and the calories and all that. And so I unfollowed people like that because that's not realistic. Every body is built differently. Every body is going to need different things. So when we try to follow these other people on social media, it'll just, And you'll wonder, okay, well, I'm doing that, how come I don't look like her? Because you're not going to. Either A, plastic surgery, because that's another big facet of it. You see girls filled with like Botox and fillers and all these different things on social media, and then you wonder why you don't look exactly like them. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with plastic surgery or fillers or whatever, but it gives people who struggle with maybe body dysmorphia or depression more triggers of not feeling their best. And there's nothing wrong with other people posting those things, but in order to set your own boundaries with that and to help yourself, unfollow them. It's not because they're bad people, it's because they're making you feel less than yourself, and you know you need to work on you and only compare yourself to you in order to develop and cultivate that self-love. So now the compare mode isn't just beauty, right? It's also success. So for me, my biggest struggle right now is my Instagram, YouTube, podcast, everything. When you see other people who are more successful than you, have more followers than you, have more likes than you, whatever, you start to compare yourself to them, and as a creative, that can mess with your creativity and your own authenticity of doing what makes you you. Because if you start copying what other people are doing, then you're going to start becoming all these other people, and then where are you? So the compare thing can go both ways: false beauty ideals and success. Now, with the success portion of it, of compare mode, this is what I've started doing now that has helped me immensely. When I post something, it doesn't matter what it is, podcast, YouTube video, Instagram post, I don't care. I will no longer even look at the likes, how many followers I've gained, how many views I have, how many listens or downloads I have, nothing. At this point, I've just focused on, okay, what's my goal? What's my goal? What am I trying to do? What's the message I'm trying to get across? And have I stayed authentic and true to me? Have I done everything that I know that I'm putting me into this, not someone else? And at that point, your mindset will start to shift, because then you'll stop even like batting an eye at the numbers. I don't even look at them anymore. I just posted the podcast for my second season. I haven't looked at anything, not because I don't want to, but just because it's not important for me to check that every day. And now the last and final thing that really just drives me, when I tell you this drives me insane, it drives me insane. This is my biggest struggle. Okay, when we go on social media and people post pictures or they post something to their story and they're like, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is my life. Again, I'm not bashing people who do this, because I do this. Like, I have a personal account. I post selfies on there all the time, what I'm eating, whatever. If I'm at the gym, I'll do that. But here's the thing, I'm not doing it to prove anything. I'm doing it to stay connected to the people in my life and the people that I love and care about. If I see something funny, I'll share it, because I'm like, oh, someone else might find this funny. If I'm listening to a song that someone else might enjoy, I do it like that. I don't seek that validation. But for some people, when other people are posting various things that they're doing in their lives, we as the viewer automatically start assuming many different things about them just based off a picture. You know that quote, a picture is worth 1,000 words or something? I don't know what it is. Something like that. I'll put the actual quote below. But it's not true. One picture can't tell you 1,000 things about someone. One picture tells you maybe 2 or 3 things, but in our heads, we start assuming 30 different things about this person. Example, and this is something that I have received on my end, just from personal experience. I know that I have a few really close friends, and they'll post things about how happy they are and how well they're doing. But I know from my personal conversations that I have had with them that they're really struggling. They're going through a lot right now. They're a mess. they're not doing so great, yet they convey on social media that they're doing just fine. And to me, that is a cry for help. A little bit. It's like we want to show the people in our lives that we're doing really, really well. Be it like an ex, I'm guilty of that. I've done that so many times where someone breaks your heart and you're like, you know what, screw you, I'm gonna show you how happy I am. But the reality is you're at home, you're eating ice cream, and you're crying your damn eyes out, and you're stalking their social media to see if they've moved on. Swear to God. You see one picture of someone and you think you know their whole life. In fact, you see a whole thread, right? Like there's, in the dating world now, like people will give their Instagrams before you maybe see each other or meet each other so that you can look through. But here, like, you're looking at the best things about them. You're looking at these series of pictures with no context. Like you could see a picture of someone who's standing in front of a mountain smiling, right? Because they've just done a hike. But the reality could be like they hated that hike, they don't like nature, they had a miserable time, maybe they twisted their ankle, they could have had, there's so many things. You start to assume, oh, I know everything about this person now, and I feel like I know them so well. And you develop like this really unnatural amount of trust in a complete stranger because you think you know who they are. That, for me, is why social media is dangerous for your mental health. There's so many other reasons, but those are the ones that I've connected with the most. And if you feel like you have other reasons or other ways that mental health isn't good for you or beneficial for your mental health, comment them below. Talk about how it's been a struggle for you and what exactly triggers you on social media. What is it that makes you feel less than all the time? So the ways that I help myself in this is I develop my own boundaries with social media. By that I mean setting timeouts for myself each and every day. If you have an iPhone, I know that there's a feature on there where it'll literally lock you out of certain apps. I think all apps, or you can choose, I'm not sure. But it'll lock you out of certain apps at a certain time. It'll give you, sometimes you can even set a time limit on certain apps so that you don't go back into them. That's what I've started doing now, and it's helped me a lot. And the other thing I remind myself of constantly is if I see a picture of something, it's just a picture. So I encourage you to set some boundaries with yourself with social media and remind yourself that it's not real. It really isn't. It's a platform where about 80% of the time people are posting the best. They're not going to post the ugly. They're not going to post, some people do, like on purpose, right, to make a point. But the majority of the time, you don't know the whole story to one picture. You don't need validation from social media through one picture. If you're really feeling yourself one day, you're like, yeah, I'm really feeling myself, I'm gonna post a picture. Then yeah, do it. It should be for reasons for you. The reasons why you post something should be for you, or to get a certain message across, or to make some sort of change, in my opinion. Not for external validation, or to look a certain way, or to look like you're living this luxurious life when the reality is you don't have that. Don't ever compare yourself, your physical looks, the way you live, and success to another person. There's only one you in this world. That's who you should compare yourself to. Your story and that what you've been through or what you haven't been through is never going to be the same as someone else. Therefore, there's no need for you to compare yourself to someone who isn't you. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope this made sense. I didn't plan anything. I just talked. But if you have any other additional comments that you'd like to put regarding social media and how you've struggled with it, or anything you've seen or witnessed that you think needs to be talked about, please comment below. And if you have any ways or tips or tricks that have helped you to minimize the way social media has triggered you, please post them, because someone might benefit from them. It may help someone at some point. Please subscribe, like, just hit it. Just hit the little thumb. I know you see it, just touch it. Just it lets me know that you enjoy what I'm doing, and it helps me get across to more people. And please make sure you subscribe. My videos will be going up on Mondays and every Wednesday for my podcast now, and stay tuned for this Saturday for a Serial Saturday. Other than that, I hope you have an amazing, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time.